Our first week found us traveling with the National Aquarium's conservation team up to New York to help with wetland restoration. We worked with high school students and planted submerged aquatic vegetation in a nearby wetland. These wetlands serve as the headwaters of the Chesapeake Bay. This means that any occurrence, negative or positive, affects the waters in the Chesapeake Bay. We planted multiple plants including blue flag, sweet flag, and marsh marigold. Wetland plants help filter and clean the water and serve as shelter and food for wildlife. We also visited Tanglewood Nature Center to work with elementary school students on another wetland planting project. Both projects taught the students about conservation efforts and got them involved. It was a lot of fun working with the students and getting them excited about our conservation efforts. We traveled with Devin from the Chesapeake Bay Field Office to monitor Delmarva fox squirrel populations at Blackwater National Wildlife Refuge. We set up video and photo cameras along with bait traps to capture Delmarva fox squirrel activity. Any photos or videos captured will be used as proof to have the squirrel removed from the endangered species list. We returned 2 weeks later to see what our cameras captured. While we didn't capture too many shots of the squirrel, we did manage to get a few pictures of deer and raccoons. Afterwards, we also got a chance to visit the refuge's visitor center and learn more about their ongoing conservation efforts. We spent some more time with the Chesapeake Bay Field Office and took a tour of the South River Greenway project site.
Lonnie, and I'm here with Miss Janet from U.S. Fish and Wildlife, Chesapeake Bay Field Office. So Miss Janet, can you tell us a little bit about where we are?
We are in the South River Greenway, which is an initiative of our office to protect over 1,000 acres of forest, wetlands, streams between Annapolis and Washington, D.C. metropolitan area.
And so what we're doing today is we're just trying to get rid of a little bit of this invasive Chinese wisteria. What the wisteria does is it grows taller than the native plants, blocks out the sunlight, and the way that it spreads, it kind of takes the chance for native plants to grow and develop. And the problem with invasive species such as these, they don't provide the food and the shelter for the native animals in this region. So that's why it's important that we eradicate it to the best of our abilities. Thank you.
We also got the opportunity to get up close and personal with a couple of osprey at Patuxent River Park. We visited multiple nest sites around the area and banded some of the chicks. Banding serves as a way to monitor osprey populations and their migration patterns. This helps researchers determine how repopulation efforts for the species is going.
Week 3 was spent at Patuxent Research Refuge, the only refuge in America built to support wildlife research. We learned about Patuxent's role in restoring the highly endangered whooping crane population. With a population that started with only 16, Their numbers have increased to over 400 with the help of U.S. Fish and Wildlife and U.S. Geological Survey. Ms. Diana and Laurel gave us information about outreach and education at the refuge.
Hi, I'm Ryan Fleming here at the Patuxent Research Refuge, and today we are pulling the invasive species mile a minute. I'm here with wildlife biologist Sandy Spencer. Hi, Sandy.
Hi.
All right, so why are we worried about mile a minute here?
Well, we're worried about mile a minute here because this is our savanna, our oak pine savanna restoration area, which we are trying to get back to scattered oaks with an understory of native grasses and forbs. We recently burned this area, did a prescribed fire here, and after the prescribed fire, mile a minute came in with a vengeance. So we're very concerned about allowing mile a minute to invade this area and undermine the work that we're trying to do.
We visited the researchers at USGS who are training sea ducks to target feed. They researched to assist in future monitoring and management of the declining sea duck populations. Mr. Jeff and Ms. Dion showed us the secret treasures of the refuge, including the graveyards, the bat cave, and the biggest sycamore tree at the refuge. The week was topped off with a bio blitz at Masonville Cove, where community members came out to survey the land. Spent acquiring information about Living Classrooms Foundation, from their historical shifts to their community revitalization programs. Week 5, we helped the aquarium conservation team with their gardens. We also completed projects at Masonville Cove and helped run a community fishing program.
During our time at Poplar Island, I learned how to drive a boat and use its navigation tools. Once we arrived at the island, we helped Robbie with his submerged aquatic vegetation survey. We mostly found witching grass and horned pondweed, but the survey showed us the importance of the bay grasses as they act as a place to hide for young fish and crab. Just off the coast of Ocean City, Julian here is in the midst of reeling in a dusky shark. Weighing in at 50 to 60 pounds, she is really putting up a fight. Once the shark was reeled in, we had to bring her aboard so that we could get a closer look and see if she was of the tagging size. We had to first measure the shark. Then we took a small sliver of its dorsal fin for DNA analysis in the lab. Lastly, we gave the shark antibiotic. A captive Mark explained that the antibiotic would actually stain the shark's vertebral column, which would later allow scientists to see the age of the shark. Our motto is learning by doing, so we got to help the staff at Masonville teach one of their habitat and insect lessons. I think the kids quite enjoyed it. Ryan was teaching about worms, while Julian got to teach kids about the mouth parts of different insects. In our spare time, we helped to enrich Masonville by taking on some extra really cool projects, like Julian here. He researched bullfrog habitats and then created a new home for Masonville's new critter, while Ryan designed a wildflower bulletin board to help educate the public about the importance of native flowers.